Hello, good morning all. Welcome back to biology class. So we studied the chapter, or we discussed the beginning of the chapter cell. Cell, that is a fundamental unit of this life. And what are the important parts of the cell? What are the important parts of the cell? Plasma membrane or cell membrane, then cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay. So we have to study about each and every parts of the cell very clear. Okay. So in detail we have to study all this. First of all, the cell membrane. We discussed what are the main features of the cell membrane. It is a selectively permeable membrane and it allows the transport of materials in and out of the cell, and it can separate the contents of the cell from its external medium like this. Okay. So in this features we mentioned one point. What is that? It is a selectively permeable membrane. That means plasma membrane is allowing the transport of materials to inside of the cell and also to outside of the cell. Okay, but it is not permitting the entry and exit of all kind of molecules. It is selecting the materials, and the selected ones only permit to inside, allow to inside of the cell, and the selected one is giving out of the cell. Then we have to study how do this method of transport of substances or molecules taking place across a plasma membrane. Okay, how the transport of materials is possible across a plasma membrane. So plasma membrane, that is a plasma membrane or cell membrane. That is one selectively permeable membrane. That means it has a number of openings throughout the plasma membrane. We can see small openings are there. Through these openings, the method of transport of materials is possible. Okay. Then, how this method of transport of materials is possible through this plasma membrane? So listen, in our junior classes and others we discussed about two methods of transportation. They are the diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion and osmosis. Okay, it is nothing. It is a transport of materials from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. Do you know what is meant by concentration? Do you know what is meant by concentration? Concentration. So, we know that when we are making, do you know how can we make a solution? Sugar solution, a salt solution, etc. So, for making sugar solution, we require two ingredients. What are they? Sugar and water. Okay, so by mixing sugar and water, we can make the sugar solution. So we can say we can increase the concentration and decrease the concentration of this sugar solution. Do you know how? By adding the amount of sugar. Okay, by adding the amount of sugar, we can increase the concentration of sugar solution. By decreasing, okay, by decreasing the amount of sugar, sugar, we can reduce the concentration of sugar solution. Okay, കുറച്ച് പഞ്ചസാര എടുത്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാം? ഷുഗർ സൊല്യൂഷൻ വെരി ഡയലൂട്ടഡ് കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ വളരെ കുറഞ്ഞ രീതിയിൽ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. കൂടുതൽ പഞ്ചസാര എടുത്താൽ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് കിട്ടും? ഹൈലി കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റഡ് ഷുഗർ സൊല്യൂഷൻ കിട്ടും. സോ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ, ഇഫ് യു വാണ്ട് ടു ഇൻക്രീസ് ദ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ വി ഹാവ് ടു ആഡ് മോർ ഷുഗർ, ആൻഡ് ഇഫ് യു വാണ്ട് ടു ഡിക്രീസ് ദ കോൺസെൻട്രേഷൻ വി ഹാവ് ടു ലെസ് the amount of sugar. Okay, did you get an idea what is this concentration now? Okay, so diffusion means the transport of materials from high concentration to low concentration. Suppose this is the inside of the cell. This is the inside of the cell and this is the plasma membrane. Okay, so if the concentration of carbon dioxide is a gas. Okay, the carbon dioxide molecule. If the concentration of carbon dioxide molecules inside the cell is very high, then what will happen? From the this is the area with the high concentration of carbon dioxide. From this area, the carbon dioxide may automatically comes out. This is what is called the movement of carbon dioxide from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. That's a type of diffusion. Okay. Then instead of carbon dioxide, it's oxygen. So usually it is happening inside of the cell as a result of cellular respiration. Inside in our body cell, the amount of carbon dioxide will be very high. Okay, so the cell need to remove this waste from inside of the cell by this process called diffusion. Then second case is oxygen. The cell require oxygen for its cellular respiration or activities. So outside of the cell, the amount or concentration of oxygen is very high. At that time, what will happen? Just opposite may happen. That means from outside, the oxygen may enters to inside. So this is the transport of, this is what is called a diffusion. Diffusion is a transport of materials from its higher concentration to its lower concentration, especially the gaseous and solid molecules. Okay, then next is the osmosis. Osmosis is also same like that of the diffusion, but here the water molecules are transporting from its higher concentration to lower concentration. Water molecules are transporting from the higher concentration to lower concentration. Okay, so for what best example I will say to understand more about this osmosis. If you are keeping this raisins unakamundiri in water for some time, what will happen? It may swells up. Okay, it may swells up. Why? Because the water molecules from outside is entering into the cell or entering into the raisins. That is why which results in the swelling of this raisins. This is an example of osmosis. Okay, you get an idea what is this osmosis. So osmosis is the transport of material, water molecules from its higher concentration to its lower concentration across a semi-permeable membrane. Diffusion may happen without membrane, with the membrane or without membrane. With this one diffusion, but osmosis is happening only through a semi-permeable membrane. So these are the two types of transportation based on this taking place across the cell membrane.